Welcome to the 40th Annual Athletic Hall of Fame. My name is Chad Bush, and generally, you would hear me on WEMU radio as a play-by-play voice of Eastern Michigan basketball and baseball, but tonight, I will serve as your MC for the evening. I'm excited to share this evening with 7 very worthy and exceptional individuals. This class hosts many record breakers and first evers. The Athletic Hall of Fame has a 40-year history of encompassing 258 inductees. We're excited to have a number of the past inductees here today. Please help me welcome back these individuals in the parade of Hall of Fame members. In the class of 1997, Eugene Thomas, track. From the class of 2001, Angie Fielder, softball. From the class of 2004, Jim Streeter, former Sports Information Director and former O-Strike Award recipient. From the class of 2005, Dr. Wally Rozier, athletic trainer. For the class of 2009, Gary Strickland, athletic trainer. For the class of 2011, Howard Booth, gymnastics, cheerleading, and track. In the class of 2008, Sarah Willis, soccer. And lastly, for the class of 2014, Fred LaPlante, track. And also for the class of 2014, Brett Petersmark, football. Let's hear it for this amazing group. Before we continue with tonight's induction, it's important to recognize key contributors at EMU and special guests in attendance. Please welcome EMU Interim President, Provost, and Executive Vice President of Academic Affairs, Kim Schatzel. Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Heather Like. Vice President and Secretary to the Board of Regents, Vicki Reum. Thank you all for being here. Your support is sincerely appreciated. Now, I would like to introduce the leader of a special group that is more passionate about EMU athletics than any group I know. Hall of Fame member and current EMU Club President, Howard Booth.
Thank you, Chad, and welcome. The E-Club is proud to present the Hall of Fame and honor tonight's inductees. The E-Club is a chartered alumni chapter by the EMU Alumni Association comprised of former letter winners. We serve the university and athletics by promoting and preserving tradition, pride, and loyalty amongst all letter winners of EMU. In addition to the Hall of Fame, we recognize outstanding academic achievements among our current EMU student athletes through the IPSES Awards. And we assist the athletic department in awarding varsity jackets to our first-time letter winners. The E-Club is invested in EMU, our student athletes, and our former letter winners. At this time, I'd like to recognize the E-Club Board of Directors to stand and be seen. Board members, stand up if you would. On behalf of the E-Club and all of the former letter winners, I would like to congratulate our newest inductees. Thank you.
Thank you, Howard. Our next speaker is the Vice President and Director of Intercollegiate Athletics, Heather Like. In her 3 years at EMU, Heather has wasted no time in making an impact in the EMU athletic department. The Eagles have compiled a list of great accomplishments, including an overall grade point average of 3.145 for the winter semester in 2014. They've won 6 Mid-American Conference team championships, received the MAC's highest honor in 2013-2014 by winning the Cartwright Award, an award that's given for program excellence in academics, athletics, and in citizenship. Oh, but there's more. Yeah, that alone deserves a clap, but there is more. And in 2014-2015, EMU was awarded the Jacoby Award for the top women's program in the MAC. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Athletic Director Heather Like.
Thank you, Chad, and certainly welcome to this wonderful evening. I want to welcome everybody, particularly our honorees, back to Eastern Michigan University, and thank you for joining us to kick off the Hall of Fame activities this weekend. I do want to say tonight is our largest Hall of Fame induction dinner ever, so thank you to all of you for coming here tonight. You know, we're thrilled to honor the Hall of Fame class of 2015 and celebrate each of your athletic accomplishments. One of the best parts of this job is celebrating an event like this with all of you who represent the pride and the history and the tradition of Eastern Michigan athletics. As members of our Hall of Fame, you are among the most decorated and accomplished athletes to ever represent Eastern Michigan University. You represent the pride and the class and the success that we aspire to achieve every day. I want to say a very special thank you to Howard Booth, the president of our E-Club, and all of the E-Club members who continue to support the athletic department, certainly by hosting this event and your ongoing support of the athletic department and coming to events. We couldn't do it without you. And Jessica from the Alumni Association, where are you, Jessica? There you are. Stand up and please be recognized. Jessica, your hard work in coordinating tonight's event does not go unnoticed, and every detail was taken care of, so thank you so much. You know, here's one of the things that I've learned most and enjoyed most since I came to Eastern Michigan. It's really, you know, I love meeting the people who have such pride for the Black E. And, you know, realizing that they wore the green and white jerseys, or they've cheered for the green and white jerseys. And today we get to celebrate a class who represents the best of those jerseys ever worn. The 7 Hall of Fame members of this class demonstrate the qualities that we emphasize to our student athletes every day. And specifically, I want to highlight 4 of those. 1 is discipline. For the countless hours they spent coaching on the soccer fields, running on the track, diving in the pool, practicing on the football fields, all while balancing their athletics and academics and graduating from this wonderful university. Number 2, leadership. Have you heard these words before? Leaders aren't born, they're made. They're made just like anyone else, through hard work. And that's the price we have to pay to achieve our goals and any goal that you aspire to do. That's Hall of Fame football coach Vince Lombardi and his famous words about leadership. And his words describe our Hall of Famers tonight. In this class, you'll find several captains, the godfather of soccer in the state of Michigan, and a former superintendent. Their leadership qualities were evident throughout their careers at Eastern Michigan and after they graduated. Third is excellence. You know, what I've learned about excellence is it shows up every day. It does not pick and choose. This group is overflowing with excellence. As a group, they've broken lots of records, won numerous MAC championships, been MAC Players of the Year, earned All-American accolades, and continued on to professional careers in their sport. They pursued and achieved excellence here at Eastern Michigan. And finally, pride. Not only are we proud of how this class represented themselves while they were here at Eastern Michigan, but we continue to celebrate their careers as successful coaches, teachers, superintendents, administrators, NFL players, and people who impact young people. We are proud to call you our Hall of Famers. And I want to congratulate and extend my congratulations on behalf of the athletic department to the class of 2015. And I just want to say that, you know, the success in the athletic department does not start with one person. It takes an entire team, and I say it takes an entire university. And I want to just say that our president and our Board of Regents and all the members of the university cabinet and leadership have been tremendously supportive of our athletic department, which has allowed us to grow and prosper and try to get better every day. And the leader of our university, I'd like to introduce to you, who's been one of those people helping and supporting the athletic department, and that is our interim president, Kim Schatzel.
Well, good evening, everybody. The energy in this room is just so invigorating, and the opportunity to be able to recognize and celebrate the accomplishments of the class of 2015 is something that I know is inspiring all of us. So welcome to Eastern, the place where so many of you enjoyed such tremendous athletic success, and indeed you brought great honor to this wonderful institution. This is a terrific group of honorees, a coach, 6 former athletes representing the sports of men's track and field, women's soccer, women's basketball, men's swimming and diving, football and baseball. This group typifies the diversity of people and sports here at Eastern. We often know what terrific campus citizens our athletes are. They are role models for the entire student body and how much they contribute not just to the athletic success of the university, but to the student success as well as our engagement with the community. We also note the great effort of contributions of coaches, such as the late Paul Cicluna, make to our athletes, and the long-term, lifelong bonds that are formed that I actually got a chance to talk with many of you tonight all about. As you no doubt have observed, there are exciting athletics times at Easterns. We have a dynamic football coach, Chris Creighton, who is doing a tremendous job with this football team. And how about that Wyoming win last weekend? Let me correct that. That wasn't a win. We crushed it. Let's admit it. And also, I want to recognize the tremendous work and the leadership of our athletic director, Heather Like, and her staff. You can just feel the push for excellence, the ability to make change, and to create and build on the lasting legacy of excellence that we have in our athletic departments. So thank you, Heather. As I was walking around tonight, I talked to some people that had not seen that great field And I want to just make sure that everybody points that out. So look out these windows and you'll see all the improvements to Rynearson Stadium and the Convo, and you'll see more upgrades in the coming months, all so that our athletic venues just rock, just as our teams do. There are also some very exciting times on campus, just generally. This fall, we admitted our second largest class, freshman class, in the history, the 166-year history of Eastern Michigan University. Also, since 2011, our freshman class has grown 42%. So the word is out, Eastern is the place to get a great quality college education. I also want to provide my personal invitation to many of you and hope that you join us tomorrow for our first MAC matchup against Ball State and another win. So congratulations to each of you in the class of 2015. And thank you so much for not what you did for Eastern those years ago, but what you continue to do for Eastern, what you continue to do to inspire us all for excellence. We are very, very proud of each and every one of you. Thank you.
It's now time to showcase each inductee and celebrate their achievements and induct them into the Athletic Hall of Fame. Our first inductee of the night is global track athlete Joseph Codrington.
Joseph Kagi Codrington sprinted onto the scene of Eastern Michigan University in 1981. The outstanding track athlete who would leave his mark at EMU actually began his track and field career over 2,400 miles away.
It was every young athlete's dream in Barbados to acquire a track scholarship and run in the United States. And so everyone, or most of the athletes in Barbados, would try to perform very well to capture the eye of recruiters, to capture the eye of the coaches there, who would then recommend the athletes to coaches here in the United States.
Joseph quickly adapted to the differences in the United States and thrived in both indoor and outdoor track at EMU. He gained many accolades along his journey, including being a member of the 1981 Mid-American Conference Distance Medley Relay Indoor Championship team, member of the three-time MAC champion outdoor 1,600-meter relay team, and in 1984, he was a member of the NCAA Indoor National Title Distance and Indoor Medley Relay teams. Joseph would establish a career relay team record that has stood the test of time. His 1,600-meter relay teammates Mike Calhoun, David Beasley, and Earl Jones would become the second fastest relay team in school history. While at EMU, Joseph's successes didn't just shine a spotlight on him, but it also drew attention and gave hope to athletes back home who had dreams to compete in the U.S.
Joseph paved the way for a number of Barbadian athletes to come to Eastern Michigan University. And he was a very good ambassador for the sport and for Barbados, because when he came here, all Joseph did was studied, ran, eat, sleep, and those four things showed dedication, showed commitment to the program, and coach parts.
Joseph continued to aid in the success of the EMU track and field program. He helped EMU capture 6 MAC championships in indoor and outdoor track from 1982 to 1984. And he helped win back-to-back cross-country outdoor titles in 1983 and 1984, along with a 1984 indoor title. Joseph finished his EMU track career with an indoor 1,600-yard run time of 1 minute 10 seconds, ranking 7th all-time at EMU and 22nd in the outdoor 800-meter run with a time of 1 minute 50 seconds. Since graduating in 1984, Joseph has dedicated most of his life to the track and field industry. He continues to serve as an ambassador to track and field athletes, as an agent for athletes competing in the Olympics, as well as serving the Ann Arbor Track Club as a coach, working with both grade school and post-collegiate athletes. It's because of Joseph Kagi Codrington's integrity and dedication that he is being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Joseph Kadriten.
Good evening, everyone. I think if I suck in my gut, I might still be able to run something right about now. This is a singular honor for me. I've been on this stage a few times as a presenter for some of those same young ladies from Barbados who are already in the Hall of Fame. But this is the first time I'm doing it as a person being presented. And again, it's an honor. So I want to start by acknowledging first the interim president right now, Kim Schatzel, athletic director Heather Like, Howard Bowe, who's the alumni president, and all the staff and administration, and everyone that has something to do with making this a success. Thank you so much. I'll try to be brief. Somebody's going to time me over the 5 minutes. Hopefully I can get in there. I'm a 20-hour speaker. 5 minutes is really difficult for me. How I got to Eastern is how I'll start this. I started my second year of organized track and field at 17 years of age, and I was on the track at the National Stadium in Barbados with one of the great coaches in Barbados. And there were some youngsters from the USA working out and running, and one of them looked really fantastic. Longest stride I've ever seen, smooth, very fast. And I went up to him and I asked him a few questions about how to run the way he was running. And he gave me a good example, and I tried it, and man, it made me run fast, but I was really tired. And then I asked him his name, and he said, Stan Vincent. It didn't mean much to me then, it was just another runner. And I carried on after that point. My journey actually started with a prayer. After a year out of high school, someone asked me if I was working, and I said, no, I'm not working. And they said, well, you should go home and get your Bible out and read Psalm 23 and pray and ask God for a job, and you'll get it. And I was surprised because I didn't think this person knew what a Bible was. So I went home and I did it. And as I was doing it, I said, God, if you'll throw in a scholarship, that would really be cool. And you know, I believe I would get the job, but I wasn't thinking too much about the scholarship. And a week went by, and I got a call for a job that I sent one resume to 10 months before. And I went and I got that job. I worked that job 2 months, from September to November, and then I got this letter from a place called Lansing, written by a guy named Bill Mays. Never heard of any of those places. But when I opened that letter, it had this word, scholarship, and I was like, what's this about? And it said, Ypsilanti, Michigan. I couldn't pronounce the name. It's YP, Ipsy. I couldn't get it. So I went and I looked up, I looked in my atlas and I saw where it was, and you know, I read that letter and it said, we're going to give you a scholarship. And I was like, how these people heard about me? I'm way in Barbados. But it's a scholarship, so I'm going to do it. So I rushed and tried my very best to do the things that were necessary. And just before I signed those papers, Coach Parks contacted me and gave me, you know, like a workout regime to start. And somebody said it was going to be cold. And I was like, yeah, okay, it's going to be cool. I can handle that. So in preparation for the cold, every morning at 4 a.m., I went out for my 5-mile run. It was very cold at that time. It's probably about 76 degrees, very cold. And I would run every day in preparation for the cold here. And eventually, I made it here. I arrived on the 31st of August, 1980. And then there was another young man with me who was very, very fast. He arrived 3 days later. coming from the Junior Pan Am Games in Canada. And then things started to fall into place. I realized the main reason why I was here is because that same young man had just ran a race against someone named Hazley Crawford. Hazley Crawford was the 1976 100-meter Olympic gold medalist, and he went to school here. He was a Huron. And Parks had seen that performance, and right away he was like, I'm taking this guy, sight unseen, no campus visit, and I need to bring somebody with him, and that somebody was me. After I got here, we started to, compete and train and so forth, and we heard this strange term, are you guys the track stars? And we were like, what's a track star? We never heard about track star. We had no clue what that was. No, we just run track, we don't know anything about track stars. But the reputation got around, we ran well, started to do very well. The other guy that came with me, his name is David Phillips. He was the most outstanding athlete at the Mid-American Conference his first year, and then he repeated it second year. And in that process, the women's track coach here at the time was Dennis Folletti. He came and he asked me, are there any girls in Barbados that can run fast? And I was like, yeah, what do you want? And he outlined what he wanted. So I made a call to one of the coaches, Tony Lovell by name, and he said, well, we got 3. And by January, we had those 3 young ladies here. 2 of them are in the Athletic Hall of Fame right now. Gina Tempro, Joyanne Clark, and Ingrid Boyce. And they came and they lit the track up at Eastern right here. And then the whole opening of the Barbados track group became a norm. We had maybe about 15 people came through here, 5 of whom I made 2 telephone calls on, and they came here and ran very well. So we've had a really good time here. Am I getting closer to that 5 minutes? Okay, so to finish this up, competing here was a joy for me. It was really a great experience in terms of team concept. I like the attitude that Coach Parks brought, which was anybody can come and run, just gotta work. And so everybody came to run. And out of those small nucleus of people that wanted to run, he built a tremendous team. There were people before me, some are sitting in this audience like Eugene Thomas, who was superb, very, very fast. And after I got here, I found out who Stan Vincent was, the guy that I had asked a question of when I was 17. He ran here, and he had some very fast times that I tried to break. Like in the 600, I couldn't break them, he was very fast. He was arguably the fastest 4x4 runner in the history of the USA. He could run from behind and catch anybody, Russia, you name it, he could do it. One last thing I'll add, I am not yet accustomed to the cold. The first day in September that it dropped to 65 degrees, sunny day, I stayed home. Some of you have heard this story before. I stayed in my dorm room, and I just knew it was too cold to run, so I didn't turn up. And the coach called me, Coach Parks, said, Kagi, where are you? I'm in my room, sir. Why? We're working out. It's too cold. And he said, you need to be here. And so I put all my clothes on, and I jogged from Walton all the way up through the back of where the president's house is now, right to the stadium. I never got warm, I didn't sweat, I was still very cold. And I ran 1 repeat mile. The other guys were bareback, sweating, and they ran 4. And that cold wind nearly killed me, and I'm barely surviving after 35 years. But all in all, it has been a wonderful experience to come here and compete, to have some other people come here and watch them grow and develop. My presenter is a person that, even though he went to a different school, he came here to do his master's and got back into running and ran like he was still an undergraduate and got to know Coach Parks and people on the team. It was just a great atmosphere, and it continues to be. If we can have that same thing with all the sports, there's nobody in the U.S. can beat Eastern in anything. Thank you.
Congratulations, Joseph. Our second inductee was a pioneer for the EMU women's soccer program, Tracy Dieter.
Tracy Dieter, class of 2001, is one of the most dominating players in the history of Eastern Michigan University's women's soccer program. She joins just one other soccer player in the Athletic Hall of Fame, teammate and goalkeeper Sarah Willis. With just one look at her skills video, Tracy captured the eyes of the EMU coaching staff.
Well, Tracy was originally recruited by Paul Cicluna. She had sent in a videotape, and I remember it pretty vividly. She was juggling a soccer ball, I think like right in her driveway in front of the garage, and she went on for like 8 or 10 minutes, which is unusual on a videotape, without dropping the ball, just touching it with her feet, her thigh, her head. She just kept juggling, and that's kind of Paul Cicluna was like, we got to get out and see this kid.
Coaches Paul Cicluna and Scott Hall made the trip to Findlay, Ohio to see firsthand the player that impressed them so much. After seeing Tracy in person, Coach Cicluna knew right away that Tracy's heart, desire, and energy was what he needed to help build the newly created women's soccer program.
Tracy was the type of kid we were looking for in the beginning building blocks of this program, just because of her athleticism. And we knew getting her into the program and shaping her on how we wanted to play, she had that ability. She was already athletic, but she had that ability to learn because she was a very smart kid, and she had the ability to adapt to kind of the game that we wanted to play within the MAC.
Her effort and commitment paid off as she earned 4 varsity letters from 1997 to 2000. After transitioning her from midfielder to a center back, Tracy would adapt quickly. Her junior year would prove to be a breakout year for this hard-working player. She displayed the grit of a veteran and would lead the EMU women's soccer team to a MAC regular season championship with a 10-win, 3-loss conference record, and helped the team claim the MAC tournament title that same year. Tracy was a fierce competitor and maintained a deep focus on the soccer field, which led to a spot on the 1999 All-Tournament team, as well as back-to-back first-team All-MAC honors in 1999 and 2000. She would also earn All Great Lakes Region first-team honors in 1999 and second-team honors in 2000. In addition to being named MAC Player of the Year in 2000. She took academics very serious, and in 2000, Tracy was named Academic All-MAC, and also became the first player in program history to be named COSIDA Academic All-American, as well as a College Scholar All-American. Tracy ended her EMU career contributing to a 52-win, 25-loss, and 7-draw overall record, and an impressive 29-win, 9-loss, and 5-draw conference record. Tracy definitely grew as a person and a player at EMU, and her passion for soccer and academics continues. Today, she teaches mathematics and history at Kingswood Oxford Upper School in West Hartford, Connecticut. It's because of Tracy Dieter's dedication and success on the field and in the classroom that she's being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Tracy Dieter.
It is an absolute honor and privilege for me to have the opportunity to stand before you tonight as an inductee into the 2015 EMU's Athletic Hall of Fame class. I'm really humbled and honored to be in this year's class, especially as we are also honoring my former coach, Paul Cicluna, tonight. I would like to start by thanking the EMU Hall of Fame Committee for its decision into inducting me into the Hall of Fame and really giving me a reason to look back on the past. Over the years, the game has played an important role in shaping me into the teacher, coach, and overall person I am today. It's definitely not about the end results, but the relationships formed, the hardships encountered, and the overall journey. I can remember meeting Cicluna for the first time when he came to watch me play in high school. We lost 0-6 to Perrysburg, and I thought that was it. In reality, that was the start of one of many lessons that I would learn while playing for Scicluna and Scotty. It's not really about winning or losing. It's all about how you respond and what you do next. By leading through example, Scicluna and Scotty taught me about the power of truly seeing the positivity in people and believing in the fact that with hard work, anything is possible. Never settle for anything less than your best. That is a motto that I associate with Eastern Michigan and the women's soccer program. While facing life's various challenges, what's most important is that you never give up. And the beauty of playing soccer at EMU was knowing that I had an entire family to back me up every step of the way. When Scicluna passed away, he never left us. And to this day, I can guarantee that his spirit and lifelong lessons are still with every player that he had ever coached. He taught us to live in the moment, to take risks, to challenge those you care about to become even better versions of themselves, even when faced with obstacles that might seem even more daunting than that lovely Mount McKinley run. I am really forever grateful for the opportunity that I was given to play at Eastern and the drive that was instilled in me while here. Playing defense, you form a special connection with your fellow backs and goalkeeper. Mamie, Mapes, Meyer, Willis, and Nordy, I hope you all realize that this is also, if not more so, about your dedication to the game, to the program, and to supporting me on and off the field. This honor is also about the upperclassmen, who are definitely more than just mentors on the field. Fatute, Mamie, TB, and Sherman, all of you played a major role in making sure we were committed to working together, committed to supporting each other, and to believing in discipline and in practice, committed to seeing the bigger picture of what a group of people can do when they are truly committed to each other and a common goal. I really thank you all for helping me realize what's important in life, family and friends. And that leads me to just a few quick thank yous for family, friends, and past coaches. Megs and Willis, wherever you are. There we go. You two helped me in more ways than you could ever imagine. Megs from freshman year with our my one-word answers to you on the phone with regards to what I was going to bring for our dorm, to Sarah and our challenges in Savannah, Georgia, with me hobbling around on crutches thinking I could run a marathon the next day if I wanted to. You guys challenged me to be better, and you really helped me face my fears and emotions. And eventually, because of you two, you enabled me to find peace and happiness in life. Coach Laub, I hope you also know the impact that you have had on my life. Through your example, I learned what it meant to love a sport and how to truly commit to excellence. All those optional Sunday practices helped me develop a passion for getting better and not settling for anything less. Scotty, thank you for helping me reach my potential by really believing in me, even when I didn't believe in myself. You taught me to find strength in adversity and focus on those things that are in my control. My parents, thank you for pushing me to believe in myself and making sure that I took advantage of any opportunity that crossed my path. And of course, my sister for all the soccer tournaments and more so talk about soccer at the dinner table. Family is important, and none of this would have been possible without your unconditional support. And to conclude, in honor of Scicluna, I have one final PS, and for those fellow players in the back, I still have it. All right, so my one final PS is this. As this event has reminded me of how good it feels to genuinely stay connected with your friends near and far, I encourage you all to listen to a little Neil Diamond tonight. In particular, Hello Again, but also Coming to America. And with Coming to America, blare it and just picture the happiest of Sciclunas driving that van back after a road win and singing his heart out. Thank you.
Congratulations, Tracy. Our next inductee left his mark on the football and baseball fields. Ladies and gentlemen, George Harrison.
A native of Dearborn, Michigan, George Bowe Harrison found his place at Eastern Michigan University. This talented and versatile athlete earned 7 varsity letters for the EMU baseball and football teams, pitcher, kicker, and receiver. Not your typical combination of skills, but George would compete at the highest level of the collegiate game and excel at both. Not bad for someone whose college career got off to kind of a shaky start.
The first away game that year was at Illinois State University, and we were taking the bus and meeting the bus in the morning at Bowe Fieldhouse to leave. Everybody is on the bus, Coach Trosco, and all of a sudden, coming down the sidewalk at a trot is George Harrison, almost missing the bus on his first away trip as a freshman.
But luckily for George, it's not how you start, but how you finish. During his 3-year baseball career, George recorded 9 wins on the mound and a .279 batting average. His success transferred over to the football field, where he started 26 consecutive football games. In 1964, George was second in pass receptions and points scored, starting as both defensive back and wide receiver. He also served as the team punter for 2 years, along with returning punts and kickoffs. In 1965, he was selected as an all-conference defensive back. George has etched his name in the EMU record books and remains there today, ranking 3rd with 8 interceptions during the 1963 season, and for finishing his career with 16 interceptions, which ranks 2nd in school history. Not only did George contribute to the competitive teams EMU fielded, he was also a great example of an athlete who understood that there is no I in team.
That George was the ultimate team player. As he grew athletically, and as he gained more experience, and as he progressed through his tenure here, he took more of a leadership role, obviously, like many athletes do. But by the same token, he was also a real good teammate. He was the kind of guy that didn't put himself in front of others.
In 1966, he signed a free agent contract with the Detroit Lions. But there was one thing that stood in the way of George and his NFL dreams.
This is that George got injured and that curtailed his career, so he never had the opportunity to. But he did go to training camp, and he did get a free agent contract, and he well deserved it.
George gave it his all and later would share the lessons he'd learned at EMU with the young men in Metro Detroit. George went on to earn his master's degree at EMU, which would lead to a 34-year career in education as a coach, teacher, principal, and school superintendent. He gained much success coaching both baseball and football at Ypsilanti St. John's and Dearborn Sacred Heart. Because of his exemplary coaching, George was inducted into the Detroit Catholic League Coaches Hall of Fame. George remains active in the EMU community as a member of the Kappa Phi Alpha fraternity and the Eastern Michigan Alumni Association Board of Directors. It's because of George Bowe Harrison's success as a 2-sport athlete that he is being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, George Harrison.
Wow. I'd like to thank some of the people that have been thanked before. I'm going to start with Jessica. Thank you so much, Jessica. You've been wonderful. Howard Booth from the E-Club, Kim Schatzel, and of course Heather Like. But my contact person with the E-Club was Jack Johnson, an old friend from about 1957, 58. Jack, from the Dearborn Public Schools, thank you so much. And Jack gets this round of applause. Also the fact that the E-Club is a chapter of the Alumni Association. I'd like all the members of the Eastern Michigan Alumni Board to please stand with Pat Berry, the president. Can you please stand, board members? Thank you so much. And then also my presenter and nominator, Ken Beamer. Kenny, could you please stand? Family and friends, I'm so proud to be here with you this evening. It's impossible to recognize everyone that has played such a significant role in my life. So I can't honor and recognize all of you, but please understand that just your presence here tonight is so important to Chris and I. There are 3 organizations that are no longer in existence that are important to my life. That would be Ypsilanti St. John's High School, Dearborn Sacred Heart High School, and Kappa Phi Alpha Fraternity. They are now gone. They're gone. But I want to let all those organizations know that the way my Hall of Fame plaque is constructed and listed, you will always be there in the history of Eastern Michigan University. Just a couple other acknowledgments I have to make. First, go back to 1957, in the center on my 8th grade football team, John Hill. And as we were saying before, John, the direct snaps, the relationship between the center and quarterback was much different now than it was with, back then. Those of you that are football players will understand that. Also, I have to mention Jeannie and Becky Schechter. Jeannie Stevenson, Becky Schechter from Sacred Heart. They were my bat girls. They were not bad girls, they were bat girls. And then also I have to mention Pat Sarb for some of the great correspondence he sent to me, and also to Tom Daniels from Ypsilanti St. John's for your stunning letter. It means so much to me. So I have to say, in appreciation for this honor to the E-Club and Eastern Michigan University, I'm so appreciative of this recognition. To be placed in the Hall of Fame with so many people that I truly admire and respect. The whole experience has been just overwhelming and humbling. I'm going to say great many times in the next few minutes because I've had so many great experiences, worked with so many great people, and coached so many great young people. I've also built in my note, pause for laughter a few times, so please pay attention. That was a good start. But Eastern Michigan has given me so much. The first 3 Hall of Fame coaches, to guide and nurture me, Fred Trosco, Bill Crouch, and Ron Ostrike. My captains of my football teams, Leroy Foley, Al Vadassi, Corky Ross, Terry Hurley, Bill McGilvery, George Hanoyan, Hilbert Lewis, and Jim Hadley. In baseball, Dave Smith, Ron Saunders, and Bill Abraham. I was accepted into the Kappa Phi Alpha fraternity as a freshman. Great active brothers, and at that time, Kappa Phi Alpha was a great organization on this campus. Just like at that time, the Arm of Honor was a great organization on this campus. Can you believe I said that? I had great active brothers and a great pledge class. They're great individuals. They gave me confidence and a sense of pride as a young person. And there are still many of those fellows are my friends today. Many of my teammates were also fraternity brothers. Leroy Foley, Corky Ross, Lowell Crandall, Tom Cava, Bill Fanning, George Hanoyan, Dale Ewell, Dan Ecclestone, Mike Paget, Tom Dana, Jim Stringwell, Mike Doobie, Gary Kent, John Mann, Clyde Parrott, Joe Clinton, Ron Moffett, Mike Bojan, and Lynn Plavondon. I didn't have to research those names because they were my fraternity brothers and they were my teammates. I'll never forget them. Because of a shoulder injury after my senior year, I couldn't play my senior year of baseball for Ron Ostrike. And he encouraged me to look at a baseball job at Ypsilanti St. John's. It was the start of a 10-year experience that I will never, ever forget. St. John's led me back to Norm Parker, a member of EMU Hall of Fame, and led me back to Ypsilanti St. John's, where we had worked together. Norm and I had worked together. Norm hired me to coach football, and after a year of baseball, I worked with Norm in the fall of '66. What a great experience working with Norm. We had truly outstanding athletes, hardworking, committed, and now are many are very, very successful adults. Also in that time, there was a marriage that occurred. But I'm going to dwell on that a little bit later. I have in my notes, pause for laughter. St. John's introduced me to the Catholic League, Detroit Catholic League, led me back to my hometown Dearborn, and to Sacred Heart High School. I had the privilege to work with a Hall of Famer from the University of Detroit, Ron Reed, a great, great high school football coach and leader ahead of his time. Ron also has his master's degree from Eastern Michigan University. Coach Reed gave me the opportunity to coach baseball and football in a highly competitive situation. We had some truly outstanding athletes, great parents, and in turn, great teams and successes, and many great memories. So thank you to Ypsilanti St. John's and Dearborn Sacred Heart, those great kids, and the leadership of Norm Parker and Ron Reed led to my induction into the Catholic League Hall of Fame in Detroit in 1988. So Ron, I thank you for that opportunity. I thank you for your guidance. And I wish Norm Parker was still here alive so he could sense my appreciation. Sacred Heart closed in 1975, a tragic loss to the parish, the community, and many friends. I was 30 years old, and my coaching career was over. I left Catholic education to begin my career as an administrator in the public schools in Michigan. I interviewed with a young man by the name of Tim Quinn. Tim looked like a big Robert Redford. And those of you that remember, Robert Redford was a good-looking dude. My wife really wanted me to take that job. The Eastern Michigan connections kicked in. Tim was an Eastern Michigan graduate, and the coach that had the greatest impact on his life was Ron Ostrike. And in Tim's infinite wisdom, he hired me. Pause for laughter. To be his assistant principal athletic director and to launch a 24-year career in public education, and more importantly, a great friendship to this day. Dr. Tim Quinn was a great leader, a great person to work with and work for, and was recognized in 1980 by the Eastern Michigan Alumni Office as an outstanding alum. In closing, I must go back to 1966. I was close to graduating, and my athletic career at Eastern Michigan was over. Time for life-altering decisions. Just down the street from the Capitol House, 122 North Normal, was the campus drugstore, better known as Ted's. Ted Tangalakis was the owner and one of the great all-time personalities in the history of Ypsilanti and Eastern Michigan University. To make a 49-year-old love story very, very short, I met Christine Fusey at Ted's on Memorial Day weekend, 1966. I tried to convince her that it was a graduation requirement to date a Kappa Phi. This beautiful woman, 100% Hungarian, has been my wife and friend for over 48 years. She's the mother of two great children, Stacy and Scott, a Grammy to 4 wonderful grandchildren, Peyton, Lauren, Booker, and Alifair. I thought Christine was beautiful back in 1966, working behind the soda fountain and serving coffee at Ted's. And I know she's still beautiful tonight, because she's sitting right there. Christine. I often make comments on how beautiful my wife is, but it's probably neglectful on my part that I don't mention she's just a wonderful person also. She wrote that, and I remembered to say it. Eastern Michigan was a wonderful place, a perfect place for me in 1962. I loved Eastern Michigan then, and I love Eastern Michigan today. I love my alma mater. I accept this honor on behalf of my family, my favorite sister Alice, my favorite brothers Tom and Terry, my favorite son-in-law Todd, I'm covering them all, my favorite daughter-in-law Kim, my favorite blonde sister-in-law Debbie, my friends, my teammates, my Kappa Phi Alpha fraternity brothers, fellow coaches, and all the athletes I have the privilege and honor to coach. I respect you all so much, and I appreciate this award so much. Thank you.
Our next inductee was the former women's soccer coach, Paul Cicluna.
Scicluna, known to many as the godfather of Michigan soccer, was one of the most dynamic and motivated coaches of his time. After coming to the United States from a southern European island country known as the Republic of Malta, Paul quickly adapted to the U.S. and began spreading his passion for soccer. In the early 1970s, Paul used his love for the game to help start a youth soccer program at the Livonia YMCA. One team quickly grew into four, becoming the Michigan Wolves, a premier boys soccer program. Paul then turned his attention to building a successful girls team, the Michigan Hawks.
When Paul decided to start a girls team when I was in 8th grade, I was already on an established team, but when he announced that he was going to coach, I knew without a doubt that I wanted to play for him. And there was a lot of other players who considered it's hard to leave an established team, but no questions asked. I just wanted to play for Paul. It didn't matter who else kind of followed along. And Paul was really big on loyalty, and I remember him saying that if I came and played for him, that we would do big things.
And that's exactly what he did. The team ended up being the best in the state, and the program is still known today as one of the finest youth soccer clubs in the country. Paul quickly earned a name for himself, and Eastern Michigan University took notice. In 1994, the EMU women's soccer program was created, and Paul jumped at the opportunity to coach collegiate level soccer. And once again, it was without a doubt that his players from the youth soccer program also wanted to be a part of this young Division I program.
When I was graduating and being recruited and he was offered the job at Eastern, he said it again, come with me and we'll do great things. And it was hard being the first year of a program, getting things started, not having established routines and history, but it was also exciting to start a new team with Paul.
Paul had early success as EMU's head coach, and in 1997, the women's soccer program joined the Mid-American Conference. Although Paul stood out as a tough coach on the soccer field, he also had a niche for making his players feel very special.
Paul was like a second dad to me, and I think a lot of other people felt the same way. My parents always joked that if I really messed up, that I would go to my parents first and then say, how are we going to tell Paul?
Paul's ability to motivate and shape players through unconventional methods while commanding respect was legendary.
So when we would be in Traverse City for preseason training, we had this really big road with a really big steep hill. It was called Mount McKinley. And we would have to run up and down this Mount McKinley. And if Paul didn't think we were running fast enough, he would get in his van, the big white 15-passenger van with no shoes on and his little whistle, and he would get as close to our heels in the van as possible and honk at us. So we would have to run so we literally wouldn't get ran over.
There was nothing typical about Paul Scicluna. Expect the unexpected. He'd be running around with no shoes, barking orders but playing with you. He kept you on your toes at all times, but nothing traditional from Paul Scicluna.
Unfortunately, Paul's life and coaching career were cut short in April of 1999 when he was killed in a car accident as he returned to Michigan following a recruiting trip. Because of Paul's influence in the soccer community, his team chose to honor him in a big way.
So after Paul died, our senior class and some of our juniors, we got together and we decided that this was going to be the season that we won the MAC in Paul's honor. And we rallied together and we dedicated our season to him. We ordered some armbands that had Paul's initials, PS, that we all wore on our left sleeve. And the bottom line is we just refused to lose that year. If I'm not mistaken, we didn't lose a single game on the Scicluna field. We had a special field dedication just after our season had started, and we officially named this the Scicluna Field. And We did not lose a game on the field.
I think when you look at how many people attended his funeral, it was pretty amazing to see how many lives he's touched. And you just keep hearing the same thread of how much Paul cared about you. I think there are very few people who weren't coached by him, that weren't drawn to him and felt like that he was the best coach they ever had.
It's because of Paul Scicluna's passion, determination, and ability to touch lives that he's being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Here to accept the award on Paul's behalf is his son, Eric. Ladies and gentlemen, Eric Scicluna.
That was a heck of a video. Wow. Good evening, guys. What a great evening we have going on here. I want to thank the Hall of Fame Subcommittee, the E-Club Online Chapter Board, directors for selecting my dad. It's the first time a deceased member has been nominated. I also thank Scott Hall, he's the current women's soccer coach, for nominating my father. Thank you very much. It's a great honor for myself and my family. And I'd like to congratulate also the Hall of Fame nominees for this evening. Congratulations to you guys too. And I'd like to thank the alumni, the family and friends for showing up here in this great evening. What I don't have on this list here is actually Tracy. Tracy, that was a great acknowledgement you gave to my father. Thank you. I am the oldest of Paul Scicluna's sons, so I'm the lucky one to come up here and talk to you guys. A little nerve-wracking up here, but I'm honored. I'm honored to be here. I'm honored to be in front of you guys representing my father of this great award that I received today, this Hall of Fame award, and I appreciate it very much. Just the video stated, my dad was born in Malta. It's a small island that was outside of Sicily. And then eventually what's that? Eventually he came here from to the United States and settled in Courtown in Detroit. And then as he got older, he worked for a flower shop and turned out to be his, he owned a couple flower shops. We moved to Livonia, and then he got the coaching bug. And then he wanted to coach soccer. And I still remember him coming home and saying, guess what? I just got my first coaching job. I'm like, coaching soccer. Okay, that's cool. And I didn't start playing soccer right away. He coached, I kind of wasn't into it, and then he never pushed me. He just never pushed me. He coached, and I eventually got into it. He was my coach. And eventually became the first ever head coach at Livonia Bentley for the boys and then the girls. And he moved into travel soccer. At that time, the 70s, soccer was an infant stage. And his passion got it going, and Livonia became a very prominent city for soccer. And then in turn, that kind of spread out, and soccer became a pretty hotbed in the Detroit metro area. And then he was one of the guys who started the Hawks Wolves, which is today one of the top clubs in the Midwest. And then it all moved coaching, and then the opportunity at Eastern Michigan in 1995. And John like Chris Cortag was the one who suggested my father. Brian Tinian was also one who suggested my dad. And then Carol Houston, who was at that time the AD at Eastern Michigan, hired my father. And here he was the coach. And he loved it. He absolutely loved coaching college soccer. He loved coaching the women's team. He used to talk about it, and dealing with the issues in the playing time, and that was it. He loved it. My dad had obviously a lot of passion for the game. He had tremendous passion for the game. And I think in turn, that wore on his teammates, his players. He loved it. The players saw this passion in this guy. It's like, ooh, I think I gotta work hard too. And one thing he wanted the work ethic. He wanted people working hard. That's one thing everybody can do, right? You don't have to be the tallest, fastest, but what everybody can do is work hard. And that's what he wanted everybody to do. He wanted to have that passion. He wanted you to work hard. And you had to work hard for this guy, otherwise, he'd yell a lot. And he had this whistle that you got in trouble, you got it. It was, but he demanded a lot, and you respected that from him. And, he instilled a lot of confidence in people, self-esteem, and, he made you want to work. He made you want to accomplish something. And that's something not only in soccer, but helps in life. It makes you want to become a better person. And I know that's one thing that I loved from him, that he gave me and my siblings and to his players and everybody who came in touch with him. You got that from him. But it hasn't stopped. It's still, he hasn't been here in 16 years, but there's not a day goes by that I don't think of him. And I know his former players think that, my friends and my family, he's with us. He's always there. And, he's still in his grandchildren, from Brian to Lucas, Maddie, Elizabeth, Kate, and little Fiona. 5 of the grandchildren are playing soccer. Just Fiona's not. I know she may be 3 months old, but she'll eventually step up. She'll take the reins and she'll play soccer. But he's always there. Even though he's not present, he's always in my thoughts. He's always my families and friends, and I'm very honored to speak for him and talk for him. And I wish he was here speaking himself, but he's not. But he's there. Memories are there, and he's there with us. So I'd like to thank EMU and everybody else who's helping get along here. Jess, I'd like to thank you. Thank you very much. And I'm very honored, and my family's honored. And like I said, thank you, Abe. And that is all.
Next up is men's football great L.J. Shelton.
L.J. Shelton was the type of football player that had the stature, knowledge, and skill to be a success on the football field. This Rochester Hills, Michigan native thought for sure he was going to follow in his father's footsteps as an NBA superstar. However, a twist of fate would prove otherwise.
When he was a senior in high school, that he got into some trouble, and the person who caught him get into the trouble was the head football coach. And the head football coach told him to come out, play football for him, and he wouldn't report it.
That twist of fate would lead LJ to EMU, where he became a 4-year letter winner and started all 4 seasons at offensive left tackle, a position that LJ hadn't even played before. That is, until fate intervened once again.
First time I saw him, he was 6'5", 6'6", 250, between 270 pounds, skinny string being enough a kid. He really thought he was a defensive end, as we all thought we were defensive players at the time, but the coaches had other decisions for us to be made. Unfortunately, they made the right one for LJ, so he's at the point that he's at now.
LJ went on to have a celebrated football career at EMU. He was named a 2-time Mid-American Conference First Team selection in 1997 and 1998. Named 3rd Team All-American by the Football News in 1998. And that same year, he was named Team MVP only the second time the award was given in the program's history. Although LJ made a lot of noise on the football field with his dominating style of play, he was more of a silent leader.
LJ was a quiet, loyal, excellent teammate. He wasn't a real big rah-rah guy. He was more, I'm going to go out and show you how it's done. I'm going to go out and I'm going to work hard and I'm going to do the things I need to do to be successful.
The loyalty LJ showed his teammates on the football field spilled over to life off the field.
LJ and I were roommates on a road trip, and we may or may not have done something to get in trouble in the hotel room. And at the time, LJ looked at me and said, "Don't worry about it. I'll take the blame. And just make sure if this happens again, the next one's on you." So at that point, LJ decided that he was going to take the blame, and he got up every morning for about a month at 5:30 a.m. and paid the price for both of us.
LJ finished his EMU career with 254 pancake blocks, 33 game starts, and became the first football player in school history to be named to 4 post-college All-Star games, with invitations to the Senior Bowl, the East-West Shrine Game, the Blue-Gray Game, and the All-Star Gridiron Classic. In 1999, after EMU, LJ became EMU's highest NFL draft pick when he was selected as the 21st pick in the first round by the Arizona Cardinals. LJ played 11 years in the NFL for the Cardinals, the Cleveland Browns, the Miami Dolphins, and the San Diego Chargers, playing in a total of 146 games and starting 127 of those contests. It's because of LJ Shelton's leadership and success on the football field that he is being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, LJ Shelton.
Good evening. I'm sorry. I'm going to have to stop trying to stop laughing. I haven't heard some of those stories in a while. This is the first time that I've seen the video that the university has put together. I'm thankful for it. That brought back some great memories. And you still owe me one, Vance, on that for running. It was like 2 months. It was a long time. I was getting up and running. But good evening. I am humbled and honored to accept this induction into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame for Eastern Michigan University. To be recognized among these great coaches and athletes is truly an honor and a dream come true. Really, I have always done my best to represent this university in the football program with humility and pride. I've always been proud of where I come from at Eastern Michigan University, always trumpeting the MAC and trying to represent my school in the NFL, and nobody would, they were reluctant to give me the respect until maybe after the game, and then we could talk about it again. I always trumpeted, I was an Eagle, always trumpeted the Eastern Eagles. I thank the Eastern Michigan University E-Club and its board of directors for this honor. My entire life, every accomplishment, every challenge I've overcome, every lesson I've learned has been made possible because of the people that God has put in my life. This is our induction, all of our inductions, everybody that helped me. I can never acknowledge them all. I would never want anyone to feel left out that helped me along the way if I wasn't able to thank them tonight, and there's no way I'll be able to get to everyone. Coaches, former teammates, administration and faculty, athletic trainers have all been instrumental in my experience here, and I can't think of one person who was in a position to help me that didn't while I was here. Collectively and individually, I'd like to thank all of you, my Eastern Michigan family. And I couldn't do this right without first thanking my mother, Paula Renee, who wasn't able to attend tonight, my father, Lonnie Shelton, and my stepfather, Pete Hess. A lot of effort went into making sure that I was always ready to claim victory. Wins were always sweeter when they were there, losses always hurt, but I can only imagine what it would have been like if they weren't here to help me. For that, I love you and I thank you, even though you're not here, they'll see the tape, they understand. I also want to acknowledge my teammates over the years here at Eastern, especially my brothers in the recruiting class of 1994. My short time that I was here, I saw just how difficult this road can be. We lost a lot of guys along the way, and I didn't forget any of them. For various reasons, sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes guys aren't ready. But I always took a piece of them with me. I wanted to champion for those guys because not everybody got to see their dreams come true in the way that I did, and I always considered myself lucky. I'd like to thank my younger brothers, Marlon, Titus, Tim, Dion. Me being the oldest, that always comes with a little extra responsibility. I was always aware that they were watching me, and I'm thankful for it. I always wanted to make them proud. I had the honor of having some great O-line coaches while I was here in Eastern Michigan. I'd first like to acknowledge Dave Hoover, who's not here tonight, followed by Forrest Gregg Jr. I can't thank them enough for being tough on me and for allowing me to learn how to lead in my own way. It has served me well my entire life. Personally, business-wise, as a father, I really am thankful to them to allow me to nurture the leader in me and learn how to lead in my own way. This is hard to do after that video. I want to thank Vance Danzy and the Danzy family. Vance was my rock. And to know his family is to understand why. Vance pushed me to be better. Vance was the one that talked me into running that hill over there before they put the big hole in it. After work in the summers, and to run it with me. Because he knows I hate running. I still do. He has always been a true teammate and a better friend. I love you, brother, and I thank you for being invested in my life. What I learned here most of all at Eastern Michigan was how to love football. I'll give you a little brief history of mine. I didn't play much in high school. I fashioned myself a basketball player. I was determined to be a basketball player. My father was an NBA champion and an all-star. And feeling a little bit of that pressure or hearing your whole life, you want to follow in his footsteps, you want to be just like your dad? Yeah, I do. Sure I do. Forget that I look like a football player. Yeah, I'm a basketball player. I can do that. So my senior year, I decided not to play football at Rochester High here in Michigan. My thought process being if I was going to play basketball, then I needed to dedicate myself full time to it. Thank God, Coach John Bowers and Ron Cooper came to a basketball game, and I was excited to see him. They watched me warm up under the hoop there in the warm-ups, and I went out there and fouled out and had 6 points. And Coach Cooper came up to me after the game and told me, "I'm here to save you because you're not playing basketball." And maybe he did. I couldn't have made a better choice. There's nothing I regret about my time here at Eastern Michigan. Not one time, not one day. I cherish all the relationships and the friendships that I made here. And what it taught me, more than anything, was how to love the game of football. That changed my life. I liked football, but I can't say I truly loved it until I got here and to understand what it was really about. Obviously playing, well, I shouldn't say they tricked me. I was recruited into playing defensive end here and quickly was moved to the offensive line, and I went with it. I trusted them. I trusted the coaches, and I worked hard at it, and I got better at it. But what the game of football has taught me about life and in general, football is about your teammates. It's about your brothers that you're out there on the field with. And when things get hard and when things get tough, what always got me through was knowing that I had to be there for them. That has served me my entire life and all my relationships. And I thank Eastern Michigan University for that. Once again, I'm humbled by this honor, and I can't thank you enough and let you know how proud I am to represent this university in this way. And I thank you all again. Good night.
Congratulations, LJ Shelton. Our next inductee was a women's basketball player. Standout. Ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie Smiley.
In 1998, Stephanie Smiley arrived at Eastern Michigan University, and from the very beginning, she made an impact on the women's basketball team. Stephanie is what many would call a fearless leader, on and off of the court, becoming one of the best basketball players in EMU history. Although Stephanie was not heavily recruited, it didn't take long for her to prove that she definitely had the determination and skill to compete on the hardwood at the collegiate level.
Well, I know she was an all-sport athlete at Holt High School, and I believe actually, as I recall, that softball was going to be her college sport by choice, and late in the game, Eastern Michigan came in and offered her, actually it was the previous coaching staff to us, offered her a scholarship, and lucky for all of us and for Eastern Michigan, she chose to come here and play basketball.
As a freshman, she was named to the All-Mid-American Conference freshman team and was selected as the MAC Freshman of the Year honor. As the years went on, she continued to build her resume of accomplishments and the accolades poured in. Stephanie earned 4 varsity letters during her career and was named MAC Player of the Week 7 times. She would also be named second team All-MAC in the 1999 to 2000 season. 2-time preseason first team All-MAC in both the 2000 to 2001 and 2001 to 2002 seasons. In 2002, she yet again would prove she was one of the best by earning a WBCA All-American Honorable Mention. All of this while never missing a game. Even though Stephanie stood out above the crowd when it came to basketball, she remained humble and always led by example.
She just wanted to be the best teammate she could possibly be. She wanted to do whatever the coaching staff required, whatever they asked. Not only what we asked, but then above and beyond, which is why she separated herself from the pack. She was, again, a consummate teammate, hardest worker, best attitude, best leader. You name it, Stephanie was first in everything that we did.
Truer words have never been said. Stephanie developed an exhaustive list of firsts at EMU. She was the first player in EMU history to start every possible game of her career with 114 game starts, and left EMU holding career records for games played, game starts, minutes played, and assists and rebounds. She was the first player in MAC history, man or woman, to record at least 1,400 points, 700 rebounds, 500 assists, and benchmarked 200 steals and 100 blocked shots. She led EMU to 4 consecutive winning seasons for the first time in school history. And when she was named a back-to-back first-team All-MAC selection in the 2000-2001 and 2000-2002 seasons, she would become the first player in EMU women's basketball school history to earn first-team honors twice in her career. But it wasn't only what Stephanie was able to do on the court that made her stand out. It was her leadership off of the court.
Without a doubt, Steph was the mother hen of the group. She was the kid that, you know, if there was ever a chance of something going wrong, I'll guarantee you she was the one in the middle saying, you know what, let's go this direction instead of that direction.
Stephanie finished her career at EMU with 1,401 points, 784 rebounds, 174 three-point baskets, 491 free throws, 243 steals, 103 blocked shots, 13 career double-doubles, and EMU's first ever triple-double. Since graduation, Stephanie has traded in her athletic attire for business casual. However, she did not stray too far from her athletic roots. She currently serves as the Assistant Athletic Director for Academic Services at Western Michigan University. It's because of Stephanie Smiley's leadership, hard work, and determination that she is being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, Stephanie Smiley.
Man, that last picture, they always say be careful what you post on Facebook, I guess. That was surprising. It's an amazing experience to be here. I'm so happy to be back here at Eastern Michigan. First, I want to congratulate all of the inductees for the tremendous honor, and thank the E-Club and Jessica and everyone involved in putting on this awesome event. This has been such a nice evening, and I just want to say that I really appreciate all the hard work and planning that goes into putting on an event like this. It's really surreal being associated with such remarkable athletes, including this year's inductees. I've never considered myself to be Hall of Fame caliber, and in fact, if you would have told me at 17 that I'd be standing here tonight, I probably would have laughed at you and thought you were crazy. At the time, my singular focus was to be a D1 athlete, and as my senior year was passing, that didn't seem like it was going to be a possibility for me. Eastern Michigan was the only D1 school to offer me a scholarship, and it came very late in my senior season. It pretty much came down to one district final game where I played pretty well and somebody else turning down a scholarship. I'm so thankful for having had the opportunity to attend Eastern, not only to receive my education, but also to realize my athletic goals. Some of my best memories are from Eastern. I was able to experience some pretty amazing things, play with very talented teammates, travel to places I probably wouldn't have traveled to otherwise, and enjoy the career that I am now enjoying. I'm forever grateful for that experience, and I have many people to thank who've supported me over the years. I've been fortunate enough to have played for some tremendous coaches. The coaching staff that recruited me to come here left during the summer of my before my freshman year, and Susie Merchant and Shane Klipfel, who's here tonight, took over that program. That year, I can remember very clearly. I believe by the end of the season we were down to 7 players because of injury and everything else. But a few games into the season, both of our point guards tore their ACLs. And Shane pulled me to the side and said, pretty much, we're going to throw you to the wolves. You're playing point guard. Over those years, I learned so much from the coaching staff. They developed me as a person and a player. They taught me how to push myself and how to be a leader. Shane is here tonight with his wife, Connie. And I just want to thank them both for everything that they've done for me over the years. Right after college, I went to Alaska for 9 years and was teaching and coaching up there. And out of the blue one summer, a couple of years ago, Shane gave me a call and said, hey, I heard you're trying to get back to Michigan. I've got a position on my coaching staff. Are you interested? And I pretty much had about 5 days to make that decision. And I was like, yep, I'm going. But I let him know my end game was to work in academic services. I had been a high school counselor at the time, and he said, you know what, come on over, and then we'll try to get you to where you're going, and sure enough, that's where I'm at Western Michigan University right now. So thank you for that. My family's also here. I need to thank them. First of all, my brothers Marty and Matt are here. If anyone knew my brothers growing up, they would know that my childhood was the fight of my life. They were little balls of muscle, and they toughened me up pretty quickly. In fact, my grandfather always told me, because they were younger, you better kill them now before they get too big. Although we beat the snot out of each other growing up, I could not have asked for better siblings, and I'm so proud of the husbands and fathers they're becoming. My grandparents, Marty and Bonnie Smiley, are here. They retired around the time I started my college career, and they were able to come to all of my games. In fact, I can't recall one game, home or away, that they weren't at. Rain or snow, they were there to support me, and today they're my favorite golf partners. In fact, every once in a while I can even beat my grandma. My parents, Marty and Layla Smiley, are here. Thank you does not do justice to the influence my parents have been on my life. They're blue-collar people who have worked hard for everything they have and always made sure my brothers and I had everything we needed. They both supported us to excel in whatever goals we set for ourselves. My mother has been an incredible model of grace, strength, and independence. There's no better female role model I could have had growing up. Just ask my dad, he'd tell you you don't want to mess with her. My dad filmed pretty much every high school game of my career, and at my request would watch them with me after the games every night. So we'd play, we'd come home, he'd put the film in, and we'd watch it. He'd stay up late after each game, even when he had to work early the next morning. He made highlight tapes for me and pretty much sent them to probably every coaching staff in America. All simply to help me reach my goals. And lastly, as I was putting the finishing touches on my speech today while I was at their house, He wanted me to not to forget to mention that he gave me the athletic DNA also to help me excel in sports. Although my mom was a pretty awesome athlete too. My parents continue to be my biggest supporters and are two of my best friends. This recognition belongs to them just as much as it does to me. Thank you, and I love you both.
Congratulations, Stephanie. Never been so proud of a Bronco. Our final inductee in the class of 2015 is diving great Barry Sesterka.
Barry Sesterka is one of the most celebrated divers in Mid-American Conference history and one of the most well-known athletes to ever attend EMU. The Belleville, Michigan native took up diving at an early age, learning to dive at the family-owned Sesterka Lake. Here, he would learn all about diving and would perfect his skill, so when it was time to compete at Belleville High School, Barry, with his experience from the lake, would make an impact right away, becoming a champion his freshman year. His hard work and dedication allowed him to become a league champion, a conference champion, and a high school All-American. These accolades made EMU take notice. Transitioning from high school to college diving often proves difficult for some, but Barry welcomed these challenges and overcame them with ease.
Going from 1 meter in high school to 3 meter in college, that just gave him more of a broad scope of diving. I think the higher it went, like from 1 meter to 3 meter, the better he was, because he could do more twists or more somersaults, and he wasn't afraid to try anything new from the high board.
While attending EMU, Barry set records that most divers could only dream of, including a MAC record in the 1 meter diving competition at the 1974 MAC Championships, where he scored 464.78 points, the EMU diving record for 6 dives on the 3 meter with 334.75 points, and in 1974 he won the 3 meter diving MAC title, setting the Kent State pool record. If Barry wasn't setting records, he was making a splash in other ways. He was named co-captain of the 1974-75 team and was selected as the team most valuable player that same year. Barry was also a 3-time MAC 1 meter diving champion and a 3-time NCAA national championship qualifier. And in 1976, he finished 37th in the 3 meter event and 44th in the 1 meter competition at the NCAA national championship.
Barry was, he was much more talented than I was, and to see him excel and to become a champion at Eastern was a thrill. I wasn't as good as he was, but it didn't matter because just watching him was a thrill to me and my dad and my family.
Barry graduated in 1978 with a Bachelor's of Science degree in physical education. After a very successful diving career at EMU, he didn't stray too far from the diving board as he transitioned from diver to coach. Barry went on to coach at the University of Wyoming from 1977 to 1984, before heading to Kansas University from 1984 to 1989. During this time, he became a 2-time Big 8 Conference Diving Coach of the Year. In the early 90s, Barry established the Tri-City Diving Club and served as the head diving coach. There he produced 2 state champions and 3 All-Americans. Although coaching proved to be a successful endeavor for Barry, he still had the competitive strand in his blood. So in 1992, he decided to compete against thousands in the 4th annual World Masters Swimming and Diving Championship. He placed 7th in the 1 meter and 6th in the 3 meter. As if that wasn't enough, Barry became a 5-time Masters national champion for the 40 to 45 age division. It is because of Barry Sesterka's perseverance, diving excellence, and determination as an athlete and a coach that he is being inducted into the E-Club Athletic Hall of Fame.
Ladies and gentlemen, Barry Sesterka.
Well, thank you. I got to say to my grandkids, see, I did have hair at one time, right? You saw it on video, right? I mean, I wear a baseball cap all the time, and the kids they come up to the house or up to the lake, and they see me without my ball cap. They're like, "Grandpa, what happened to your hair?" Because I mean, I'm always got a hat on, so this was really cool for them to see that. Okay, I'd like to start out by thanking my daughter, my presenter tonight. She's going to hand me my award. She was a diver as well, high school All-American, go for Clemson University. I thought it'd just be appropriate that she hand me that plaque tonight. And second of all, I'd like to thank my brother for the presentation and the nomination tonight. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. And I'm just going to get going on the speech, I guess. So. I want to congratulations to all my fellow inductees, Joe, Tracy, George, Paul, LJ, and Stephanie. I'm very honored to be part of this class. Okay, I'm going last tonight, and I promise to keep this short. I know it's getting late. What a year I've had. My second daughter, Jamie, got married to a great guy. Now I got 2 great son-in-laws. Nancy and I celebrated our 40th anniversary this year. And now the Hall of Fame induction. This will be a year that I'll never forget. A special thanks to the E-Club and the Office of Alumni Relations and all of Jessica's efforts putting the ceremony together. And of course, a thanks to the Eastern Michigan University. It was about 3 months ago, I received a text message while sitting in one of my customers' office. It was from the Alumni Relations office, stating they had some very good news for me, and I need to contact them ASAP. My client was on the phone. I just got up and walked out of his office. I kind of had an idea what it was, but I was so excited. I ran into my car and called, and sure enough, that's what it was, and that's when it hit me. Wow, the Hall of Fame. I'm truly honored. My dad always said there's nothing better than family and friends. And I would not be here tonight if it wasn't for all the support that I got from each one of them. Some reason why I choose Eastern Michigan University, the main reason was the late Mike Jones. He was a great man, a great coach. He believed in me as an athlete as well as a student. He also was my academic advisor. This way he could keep an eye on me and make sure I went to class and I got that diploma. When he came to the house recruiting me, he sat in the living room with my dad and my brother and my mom, and he sat there and promised that I would get a diploma. I struggled in school, and he gave me the confidence, and he believed in me, and I believed in him, and it was a great partnership. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for him. The second reason why I chose Eastern Michigan University, Richard Manacore, Don Zantop, Jim Macbeth, all dove for Eastern Michigan. I watched these guys die when I was in high school. While they were in high school, I was in junior high, and I was in awe of these guys. And once I found out that they were diving at Eastern Michigan, I figured if it's good enough for them, it's good enough for me. The third reason is I wanted to stay home, close to home. We grew up in Belleville, Michigan, Sesterka Lake. You know, they mentioned, I was glad that got in there. I want to be close to home and my family. I have several great memories while attending at Eastern Michigan. Most, of course, while diving and competing and traveling with the swim team. Receiving my diploma, knowing I was the first one in my family to do so. But the number one memory was the day I met my wife, Nancy. Here we go. It's kind of an omen. I mentioned my wife Nancy and it crashed, but I won't bore you with the details, but I'll tell you this. It was a year later and we were married. It was like when it hits you, it hits you. I'm going to cut this short, but I have some people that I want to thank, and I want to start off with my high school coaches, Sam Bickey, Bill Snyder, and Frank Musser. Bill Snyder and Frank are here tonight. Sam couldn't make it. Three of the greatest coaches in the high school system during that time. While I was in high school, I had a privilege of going to several different diving camps. U of M, Dick Kimball's camp. I went to Indiana, Hobie Billingsley. I went to The Ohio State, Ron O'Brien, and dove for all of those during the summer. And I put Frank Musser right in the middle of these guys. They had much bigger schools, but Frank was just as good of a coach as they were. I want to thank Rich Manacore. He was my coach during my sophomore year. Tell you a little funny story about him. When I was in junior high, watching this kid come into Belleville and dive against our high school from Redford Union, he become bopping in, a little cocky. Everybody thought, boy, this kid's cocky. Look at this kid. But he was a heck of a diver, and I got thinking, you know what? He's not cocky, he's confident. And that's why he was so good. So I had the fortune to have him as my coach my sophomore year, and that's the biggest thing I got him. He taught me how to be confident. When you go to do a dive, you can't have anything negative in your mind. You got to see yourself doing it for 8s and 9s, and I always, that's the biggest thing I got from Rich. Other than our friendship, he was a great coach, but he taught me how to be confident. He taught me how to get in the water as best I could, and I thank him for that. Mike Cook coached me my junior and senior year. He's not here tonight, but he was a Division I All-American and diver for Michigan State, and just got out of college. And we had coaches coming and going. I had divers coming and going. I was pretty much diving by myself most of the time. But Mike, he was a quiet man, and he just taught me to get better and believe in myself. And I was very fortunate to have him there my last 2 years. I'd like to thank my diving teammates. I have a couple of them here tonight, which is remarkable. First is Jim Macbeth. I'm going to call Mary Wright by her name back then, and Gloria Justice. They made the trip here, and I can't thank you enough for joining us. Jim was a couple years ahead of me and needed a place to stay for a semester, and asked if he could shack up in our apartment with my buddies, and I think that'll be a semester he'll never forget. Yeah. I thought about my dad, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to get through this because, he was a high school state champ. He dove for Roosevelt High here in Ypsilanti. You know the history, some of you know the history of Sisterka Lake. And he started Belleville Swim Club because he knew Brad and I needed to travel and get out and see some of the other competition. And he passed away a couple years ago, and I think about him all the time. So I got to thank him for everything he's done for us and our family. And I need to thank Brad again for this. He wasn't supposed to be here tonight. He's been on a 2-week trip with his family in California, due to get back on Monday. And he said he tried to do everything he could to get his flights changed, but it was going to be $1,500. Now, Brad, don't worry about it, man. That's kind of why we had you in the video. I really appreciate everything you did. I appreciate the nomination. I'm sitting in a motel today, and in walks Brad. They decided that they'd fly him in today and fly him back out tomorrow morning at 6 in the morning to hook up with his family and his wife and fly back on Monday. So, Brad, I can't thank you enough. Last but not least, my wife Nancy. We got married 19 and 20. No reason other than we loved each other. And She dropped out of school. She came from New Jersey to attend Eastern Michigan because of the rating of the education department. Lucky me. And she dropped out of school once we got married so we could have some kind of income coming in. I finished up a year and a half later, got the job at University of Wyoming, and that's where Nancy ended up getting her degree. And she's now a principal at a middle school, about ready to retire in a couple of years. So thanks for the sacrifice and the commitment to my career and coaching, and I love you very much. Before I go, I have a shout out to two special people that came tonight. Jerry Smith, he hired me in my current job with John Crane. I'll never forget the day that he called to offer me a job. It was December 14th, 1996. But it's a great job. I got a couple more years before I retire with that, and I was so lucky that I got this call right out of the blue from this guy. I love working for him. He's here tonight, and thank you very much. I also want to thank Jan and Mac McDonald. They're my current neighbors for the last 10 years. Mac is 83 and he's got some health issues. Can't walk, he's in a wheelchair, but his heart is as big as anybody's, and he insisted on being here tonight. And I love you very much. And to the rest of my guests, God, I'm the only one who cried tonight, am I? I knew it. But I want to thank I'm very humbled to be into this and get this award, and I can't thank everybody enough. All my guests for coming. I got 5 tables, for God's sakes. And it just means all the world to me. So thank you very much, and go green, and go Hurons, and go Eagles. Right, Mom? Thank you.
It's now time for the official induction. Here to present Joseph Codrington's award is his best friend, Roger Weeks. Here to present Tracy Dieter's award is her former coach, Scott Hall. Here to present George Harrison's award is his friend, Ken Beamer. Here to present the late Paul Cicluna's award is former EMU men's soccer coach and close friend, Brian Tinian. And here to present LJ Shelton's award is his friend and EMU teammate, Vance Danzy. Yes, there's a weight limit on the stage. Feel well protected on the left side here. Here to present Stephanie Smiley's award is her former EMU assistant coach, Shane Klipfel. And here to present Barry Sesterka's award is his daughter, Allie Duman. And now the last step is the Hall of Fame decree. Eastern, sacred alma mater, to your name we shall be true. Ever marching on to victory, we'll stand by to see you through. Softly floating, the breeze, verdant green with white of snow, this our banner we will carry in our heart where'er we go. To those, the exemplary calling, these awards for performances of excellence, honor, and skill. Congratulations, you are now officially inducted into the Hall of Fame. A round of applause for the class of 2015.